Hi guys, congratulations on the movie, fantastic. I've seen it twice, loved it, and every time I've seen it, I've found new things about it. Usually I would be asking cast members of something that's been a play in the past if they've been in something, and I know, Nina, you were in Hedda back home for 6 years, and you played Hedda.
I did, yeah.
How does it differ for you to play from playing one character to playing Lovborg, who is actually a male character in the original text?
Exactly. That's why it was so surprising to me what this gender reversal did to the play. I could just never imagine it. I would have never thought about it. And I actually wonder why not. Because it seemed to me to be such a... It's an amazing idea. And I was thinking about it this morning, actually, because you hardly ever have the chance to play a character who has both genders in them. Because it's still Eilert Løvborg is still in Eileen. And just because it's Eileen, it gives so much more, like the conflict is so much more heightened. Everything is so much more charged. The fight is a much stronger one for her being away. So I was just mesmerized by this opportunity to dig into a character like that. Because also, I was thinking, the relationship with Thea, for example, and that's the Eilert bit, not that women don't have that in them as well, but this kind of like, why wouldn't she put her name on the manuscript? And so also, that's what I love about the film and the play also, that all the characters, not just Hedda has a power issue, we all do. We all kind of, and you wonder why that's in us, humans, that we could be so kind and loving to each other, but we have this kind of thing, maybe I can rule.
It's not enough.
Yeah,
nothing's ever enough.
Maybe I can manipulate the other person. And why is that interesting and fascinating? Or why is someone who is like that pulls people in, and you just want to be surrounded by them because they're exciting. Why? So that's another answer to another question. But
Imogen, how familiar were you with the Ibsen text? Because I just absolutely love Thea's character. She seems like the purest out of all the characters of the play. How much did you know about this?
I hadn't. Whoop. I hadn't.
What a perfect
I know.
intro.
That's all I needed. Now I'm ready. I think. I'd first seen a production of Hedda at the National Theatre. Ruth Wilson played Hedda. She was absolutely extraordinary. It was Eva van Hove's production, and Ruth was unbelievable. And so that was my first intro to it. And I'd read Ibsen plays before, but I wasn't completely aware of Thea until, of course, you start to play the part and you dig into it yourself and you understand and you study the piece and how they operate as a three, that kind of triptych of the women. That's what's so interesting to me. And as you say, she apparently is the purest. Perhaps that means she's the one who sort of has a connection to her agency in that way and is brave enough to act on her impulses. Despite the fact that she appears a very sort of fragile, nervous character who's sort of existing on the sidelines, but she is the one who's seeing the truth of people's manipulations or behaviours, and it's that kind of weariness, that frustration that when you see the truth and other people aren't being honest about it, it's a very lonely place to exist in. But yeah, so I think it's great that they've made this film, because it means if you are aware of the play but you haven't seen a production, or perhaps these playwrights can kind of be considered as being inaccessible or intimidating intellectually, but of course they're great playwrights for the very fact that the plays are for like the people and their timeless ideas,
The play, or also the movie, really touches on the complexity of addiction, especially when it comes to Eileen. How was that difficult for you to sort of try and, because you, as I say, you played Hedda in the past, but you hadn't really been familiarized with that particular character before. Was it hard for you to find sort of, where who the character was really?
Well, that was one of the main points, I thought, that Eileen has this addiction with the alcohol. That she, for the very first time, she found someone who really, in Thea, who really kind of gave her confidence that you're okay, you don't need this vehicle to become an interesting person or to be an interesting person. And so for the first time this evening, Eileen explores who she could be in this society that everyone knows she's the drunkard, she's the crazy woman, she can entertain the whole room. And could she do that without this vehicle, alcohol? So that actually informed a lot for this whole bow of Eileen for me. That she's a different character in the beginning, and for Hedda slightly too boring and normal. So, and I thought I do want to show, not that I speak for please people drink, but once she has this drink, it does something to her. She kind of starts to relax until it goes really wrong. So, and that's the addiction. And so, no, it didn't. I loved using that fact that she has an addiction problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey You Guys!